Broadcasting live from the Jersey Shore, it's Coach Kev on the Damage 365 Radio Network.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Damage 365 Radio. This is episode number 31. I am your host, Coach Kev, along with my co-host for today, calling in via satellite, Nick the Beard's in the house. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Thank you very much. Happy 4th of July weekend, everybody listening.
You the same. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Hope everybody had a safe weekend. Didn't blow off any appendages, enjoying their festivities. Everybody had a good time barbecuing, didn't burn down the house or the yard, and all that fun stuff that goes along with partying, celebrating the birthday of our country. And during our birthday segment today, we're not going to be corny and wishing the United States of America a happy birthday. So if you're
that would be pretty funny now.
So if you're expecting that, that's not going to happen. So, but what we will say is, Damage 365 Radio Network is brought to you by Spreaker.com. You can view us online at Spreaker.com/damage_athletics. And you can listen to every show live, or you can listen to all the shows once we're off the air. You can also visit us at youtube.com/Damage365 archives. We're always on the air. We're always streaming somewhere for you to listen. On Skype at Damage365 Radio, at Twitter at Damage Athletics, Facebook.com/Damage365. We got a lot of things going on in the next couple of weeks. Some JCW news, some rebirth of the Superstars of Wrestling Federation. We are majority sponsor for the SWF now. So some big things coming in the near future. Today's show, we will have Warriors of Wrestling's president, Joey B, will be in the house. We'll shoot some questions with him, including one of the huge hot topics that's been going on. If you didn't listen to any of our shows last week, wrestling agents in the independent circuit. We'll go over that with him and his view on that. But before we do any of that, we want to get to our birthdays and our shout-outs. So sit back, relax, and if your name is named, you're cool. And it's shout-out time, ladies and gentlemen. We have a whole bunch in the house. Happy birthday, Damage alum Mary Calandrillo. Happy birthday to alumni softball league mates Mike Maggi of the Furioles and Dennis Aponte of James Verrucchio's Ballbusters. Happy birthday to our former guest from a couple weeks ago, Nikki V, a.k.a. Nicolette Vincelli. Happy birthday to Damage Athletics contributor Andrew Flugbiel. Happy 21st birthday to Alex Volk, and happy birthday to Felicia Dodaro. Happy birthday to my little puppy baby girl, Hunter Amore, and her little buddy Ava Young. Both turned 5 this week, so happy birthday to my little puppy. And happy birthday to JCW's Lathan Wilkerson, a.k.a. one of the sons of Kamala. So happy birthday, big guy. Don't eat any people for your birthday.
Hello, ladies. The Big Valboski here, and you're listening to Damage 365 Radio.
With that music means it is time for our tournament, and our current tournament is the greatest women in professional wrestling, and we are currently going to give you the results of round number 2 as we enter round number 3. All right, here we go. You ready, Nick?
Absolutely.
All right, we had Luna Vachon taking on AJ Lee, and it was Luna Vachon victorious, despite AJ Lee just winning back her championship. Sorry. Tamina Snuka took on Velvet McIntyre, and it's Tamina Snuka victorious, setting up Luna Vachon against Tamina Snuka. How about it, Nick?
I'm going to go Luna Vachon in that. Nothing against Tamina, but just Luna has a better resume up and down than Tamina does. Tamina's very early in her career, and despite her namesake, I'm going to go with Luna Vachon.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think you would have to go with that. She does, Tamina has the pedigree as well as Luna, but Luna right now has the track record. Tamina is still making a name for herself,
Exactly.
if the WWE allows her.
Yeah.
We had Judy Martin knocking off Dawn Marie, and we had Angel Orsini knocking off Madison Rayne, setting up Judy Martin versus Angel Orsini.
Well, I know I picked against Orsini last time. I'm gonna go on there. I'm gonna go out a little bit. I'm gonna go Orsini on this one.
I'm gonna agree. We're gonna go with one of the ECW originals, Angel Orsini, over legend Judy Martin, who I don't understand is not in the WWE Hall of Fame. Go figure.
Yeah.
Leilani Kai was defeated by Ivory, and Karma rolls over Brooke Tessmacher, setting up Ivory versus Karma.
That's a very, very good matchup. I mean, you got two powerhouse women right there. I'm going to go Karma in that matchup. I think that in my mind, I think she can go deep in this tournament depending on how the matchups form, but I'm going to go with Karma in this matchup.
I mean, size-wise, I don't think there's anybody in the lot that's left that can probably match her size-wise. So it's going to have to be somebody who's got a great combination of power and speed that could defeat her. It could be one of these two ladies in the next bracket, because it was Victoria knocking off Deborah McMichael and Lita knocking off SoCal Val, setting up Lita versus Victoria.
Great matchup. I think, to be honest, if you look at it, Lita might be one of the top 5 favorites in this tournament, along with like Trish and Karma. I'm going to go Lita in that matchup. So, I mean, I'd like to see her matchup against Karma down the line.
I'm going to go Victoria just for the power aspect. Lita a little quicker. Lita a little bit more aggressive as far as using the top ropes and high-flying tactics. But also, when you are a high-risk type wrestler, that is a larger margin for error. So
it's a high-risk, high-reward type thing. So.
Yep, so I'm going to go with Victoria on that one. You mentioned Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus is out, defeated by Mickie James.
Wow.
Paige.
You picked it.
I did. Paige knocks off Sunny, setting up Mickie James versus Paige.
Wow, great matchup there. Like I said, the Mickie James-Trish matchup is very close. I mean, you saw that feud towards the end of Trish's time in the WWE. Wow. Tough matchup. Oof. I'm going to go Mickie James. As much as I love Paige, Paige is too young here. I think Mickie James has a good resume. I'm going to go Mickie James.
Yeah, I'm going to go Mickie James just based on experience. The fact that she's been 2 major market representatives of being a champion. So I'm going to have to agree with you there. Next bracket was Gail Kim defeating Alicia Fox, and a very, very tough match of 2 absolute bruisers in the women's division. It was Jazz knocking off Chyna, setting up Jazz versus Gail Kim.
Wow, you're looking at 2 totally different styles of wrestling right there. Jazz, like you said, she's a powerhouse. But when you look at Gail Kim, she's got that technical aspect to her wrestling, and one of arguably the best technical wrestlers in women's history. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a tough matchup. I'm going Gail Kim.
I'm going to go Jazz. I'm going to go Jazz just because Jazz, I don't think Jazz has ever had the experience of not being the dominant one in the match, and she's got that mentality that she can roll over anybody, And a lot of times that confidence will carry you through a match. So I'm going to go with Jazz, despite just meeting Gail Kim and, taking a photo with her, and she's an absolute sweetheart. But I got to go with Jazz on this one. I think Jazz represented the WWE as the women's champion when women's wrestling was at its best, where now it's kind of like, TNA is far superior than the WWE right now as far as women's wrestling. But I think when Jazz was
the thing is, it has been for years.
But what I think when Jazz was the champion, the WWE wrestling then was better than TNA now.
Yeah.
So that's I also have to give it an advantage over that. Moving on to the next bracket, it was Wendy Richter defeating ODB. And the Fabulous Moolah defeating Kelly Kelly, setting up a rematch of WrestleMania 1? Wendy Richter versus the Fabulous Moolah?
Yep. That's a really, really tough matchup, again, because it's a rematch of WrestleMania 1. I'm going to go Fabulous Moolah.
Oh, man.
It's a coin toss. It really, really is.
It is, and I think you kind of have to go with Fabulous Moolah. I mean, she was, I guess, arguably one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time. I think you have to go. I mean, people will say, well, Wendy Richter already beat her, so why can't she do it again? Everybody thought Fabulous Moolah's career was over in the mid-'80s, and Wendy Richter was kind of past the torch. They didn't know Moolah was going to stick around for another 12 to 15 years. So.
Yeah, and then on top of that, still show up on TV until like the last couple of years before she died. Like,
yeah, I mean, she wrestled the match in her 80s.
Yeah.
So
she wrestled. How many different decades did she wrestle in again? Was it like 7?
Oh, so yeah. I mean, she started wrestling when she was 19, I think it was. So
yeah,
that's nuts. All right, moving on to the final bracket. It was Medusa defeating Sable and Sensational Sherry defeating Beth Phoenix, setting up Medusa versus Sensational Sherry.
Again, like these matchups are just absolutely amazing. And you can't go wrong with any one of these picks. I'm going to go Sensational Sherry.
Yeah. I mean, Sensational Sherry probably didn't get her due as a women's wrestler, and she kind of got her due later in her career as a chaperone and manager of so many people, from Harlem Heat to Macho Man Randy Savage to Shawn Michaels, and the lists go on and on and on. But wrestling wise, I just know from me watching her back in the 80s that she was, the way you saw her as a manager, that aggression and just that violent temperament, that's the way she was in the ring as a wrestler. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with Sherry on this one. So to recap round number 3, we'll start from the bottom up. Sensational Sherry takes on Medusa. The Fabulous Moolah takes on Wendy Richter. Jazz takes on Gail Kim. Paige versus Mickey James. Lita versus Victoria. Karma versus Ivory. Angel Orsini versus Judy Martin. And Tamina Snuka versus Luna Vachon. Quick finals prediction with remaining wrestlers?
Oh, quick finals prediction. Wow. There's so many different wrestlers in this turn. Right now, I'm trying to think. Are Karma and Lita on different sides of the bracket?
You have, let's see, Karma is on the top bracket, and Lita is also on the top bracket.
Okay. Yeah, because they would face off in the next round. Wow. You know what? We might see Lita Sensational Sherry or Karma Sensational Sherry in the finals. I think both of those could be very, very... They very well could happen.
It's funny because we both got the same bottom bracket. I got Sensational Sherry in the bottom bracket, but I got Luna Vachon on the top bracket.
That's another great pick. I see Luna Vachon taking on either Karma or Lita in the final 4.
I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those. I mean, they're absolute beasts in the ring. So I don't know. It's pretty cool either way. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back from that commercial break, we're going to go over a little WWE, what's going on with the championship picture and the return of, soon return of Brock Lesnar and the future of Daniel Bryan. We should have about a little less than 10 minutes before Joey B calls in. So let's take a commercial break. We'll be right back in about 30 seconds after a word from our sponsors.
Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. Over a decade of excellent dining experience. Dine in, take out, or free delivery. We feature over 25 different types of pizza pies, and also will create anything you want. Our sauces are made fresh daily and use only the freshest ingredients. We also have good old-fashioned style entrees, cooked like your mom used to make. From wraps, calzones, rolls, and pasta specials galore to calamari and soups, all in a cozy atmosphere. Call today or stop on in.
And we're back, and a special thanks to one of our sponsors, Esposito's Pizza of Matawan, New Jersey, and Manasquan, New Jersey. Check out their new location in Manasquan, right off the Jersey Shore, or check out the original location in Matawan, New Jersey. Try out their signature series pizza with the sesame seed crust. You cannot go wrong ordering it, New Jersey. As a former New Yorker, a former Staten Islander, I can tell you right now it's the best pizza by far in Central Jersey, and you will not be disappointed. Tell them that Kevin from Damage 365 Radio sent you, and hopefully he'll hook you up with a little gift discount, or maybe he'll just throw you a sesame seed slice to try. Who knows?
Do they deliver to New York? Can I get them to deliver here?
They don't, but I think this year we're gonna have a Damage 365 Radio Network kind of like a kickoff party for 2000. At the end of the summer, going forward for 2015, as we get back into our busy season, because a lot of the wrestling federations have a sabbatical during the summer, because a lot of these buildings don't have air conditioning, and it's too brutal to have a wrestling event in an air conditioned-less building. People, besides the wrestlers sweating and dying as they do, your fans are sitting there, they're hot, they're sweaty, and it's just not a comfortable situation for most. So a lot of them take off during the summer. They're usually back right after school's back in session, whether it's September, October, November, whatever it is. So when we get back into the swing of things, our busy time of the year, we'll have a little end of the summer barbecue. We'll invite some on-air guests, some a whole staff and all that fun stuff, and close out the barbecue season, close out the pool season, and just no holds barred party.
Absolutely.
We got a couple of guests that were on the air with us that live in New Jersey. I'm sure they wouldn't mind taking a ride for free food and free pool.
I don't think any of them will. I mean, I think Destiny already said that.
Yes.
If she wanted the beach, but I mean, I think she would take that. So.
The beach is down the block, so she can go chill out on the beach. And when she's overheated, just walk 5 minutes up the block, jump in the pool. You're good.
Exactly. Grab a drink, and grab some food. So, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to complain.
We have about a little less than 5 minutes before Joey B from Warriors of Wrestling gives us a call. WWE, you got the title around the waist of John Cena now. How long does that last? A lot of people are saying till SummerSlam that Brock Lesnar is going to be the new and the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. What does this say for Daniel Bryan, who's supposedly now in need of a second surgery due to numbness and tingling in his fingers? It might be something as easy as a nerve issue, but he is going to. Right now, they said he's definitely going to need a second surgery. So this kind of pushes him out of the picture until well after SummerSlam. Maybe we don't see him until Survivor Series. Who knows? Maybe he makes his comeback then. CM Punk, I'm going to wave him bye-bye. I don't think he's ever coming back to WWE. His contract is up in about a week or so. AJ Lee.
I think, if I remember right, I think Sunday at midnight is when his contract's up.
Yep. AJ Lee returns.
Tonight at midnight, I think, actually.
Tonight at midnight, all right. AJ Lee returned and basically pulled the same nonsense that Paige pulled on her, and now AJ Lee is once again the champion. And I think actually Joey B is giving us a call a little early, so you know what? Let's go take him a little bit earlier. And ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to welcome in our guest of the day, the president of Warriors of Wrestling in Staten Island, New York, Joe Bellini, a.k.a. Joey B. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
We have a couple questions we'd like to throw by you, just to give everybody a little bit of a background to Warriors of Wrestling. I know you and I spoke in the past that despite Staten Island being really, really, really small, it just seems like people don't know independent wrestling exists in Staten Island, and in our opinion, they're missing out on a lot. So we need to get that word out. But just a little bit of a background. When was Warriors of Wrestling founded and officially launched?
Well, it was founded, I guess you would say, maybe the idea was planted the summer of 2007, and our first show was December 1st, 2007. 2007,
okay. And go figure. We didn't go to a show until 2012. I prior to 2010, I didn't even know you. Me personally, I didn't know you existed, and I lived in Staten Island for 34 years. So.
It's weird. Staten Island, I mean, we promote all over, but even when you promote, there's so many people in Staten Island. It's like, they say there's more people in Staten Island than there is in before.
I believe it.
If you drive through Staten Island, you can see all the traffic all the time. So it's just hard to get the word out to everybody out there. Trust me, we try.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, it is that way. Anybody who's driven on Staten Island Expressway or went to go visit family and can't find a parking spot because they built 30 houses on these tiny pieces of property, and there's only enough parking for 10 cars. So, I mean, everybody, it's overpopulated. So, I mean, I would imagine it's really hard to get the word out. Just, it's kind of, you hope word of mouth helps you out there big time.
When we had the Staten Island Clown on the show, we were on the front page of the paper there, so that helped out a little bit,
I was there for that one. He took a Joey B stunner in the middle of the ring, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was fun. I don't know about for him, but it was fun for me.
Yeah, I don't know about for him. Do you remember what the first match of your first show was?
Yeah, the first match on our first show was Jason Cross against Hulko.
Okay, who won that match?
I believe Hulko won that one.
Okay. As far as former large market stars, meaning WCW, ECW, TNA, WWE, who was the first former large market star to appear at a WOW show?
Consider Sonny. She was at our first show.
Sonny? Yep. I hope Damien Darling's not listening to the show. But
this is when like she started making her comeback. So this is before she was dating Damien, I think.
Oh, okay.
She was dating that cop that she claimed beat her up in Howell, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
This is a few years ago.
There was a lot of claims that Sonny made.
Yeah, well.
Nick, you got any questions?
What's something in the wrestling business that you're most proud of, like something that you've done in the past? Well, I mean, obviously bringing up Warriors of Wrestling and everything like that. But what's one of the things that you're most proud of in the wrestling industry that you've done?
Wait, can you repeat that second part?
He wants to know what. Yeah, Nick.
Yeah. So what's just something that you're most proud of in the wrestling industry that you've done in the past?
Well, I mean, aside from starting Warriors and watching Warriors, be around for almost 7 years, I'm not proud of, but one of the funnest moments I've had in Warriors a few years ago, about 15 of my guys were invited to the Upright Citizens Brigade in Manhattan. If you don't know what that is, it's a famous comedy club. And the guy's name was Chris Gethard. And one of the guys was leaving, and they wanted to do a skit with wrestling, so they invited us up there, and we destroyed the whole stage. And the place was packed. It was a midnight show. I didn't think anybody was going to be there at midnight. I was wrong. And it was just a good time. All the boys getting together, doing the skit, going out afterwards. So something like that with the place with that type of notoriety. Now, I don't know if I'm most proud of that, but that was one of the most fun things I've done.
Okay.
Absolutely nice.
Is there a venue that you kind of have on your wish list that you would love to have Warriors of Wrestling be at?
A realistic one, or does it matter?
Well, I mean, everybody can say Madison Square Garden. Crap. I mean, I wish I could do a broadcast from there.
For me, the Hammerstein.
Okay, that's a realistic. That's definitely a realistic one. I'm not. I wouldn't say that's unrealistic. That's. I mean, anybody who's a wrestling fan, especially of ECW, I mean that's kind of like the holy grail of extreme wrestling.
That's another building too, the arena in Philly. Now that's reopened again.
Yes, that is reopened again, and I know some of the local ones out here in New Jersey have been trying to hit that place up, and I know it's been with safety issues. It's just a lot. It's very, very hard to get into that arena, but I'm sure somewhere down the road it's going to become one of the main focuses again for wrestling. And people don't realize, independent wrestling, it's all about venue, because you can have the greatest product in the world, and if you hold it in a town that just doesn't really support or give a damn about independent wrestling, you can be wrestling in front of 35 people, and then the next night you could be somewhere else and be wrestling in front of 535 people. So
absolutely,
it's just really weird, independent wrestling. It's just, you got to go with your bread and butter. If you find someone that's somewhere that's really good, you kind of ride it. As they say in the wrestling business, you keep going to the well. How did you guys wind up at Fun Station USA in Travis in Staten Island?
Wow, how do we end up there? I think there was like a backyard company running there, with no license, no insurance, and we showed up with, we had a license, we had our insurance, and we made a deal with the guy, and he's like, just make sure you run 2 shows. I said, all right, no problem. That was 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe 50-something shows kill, as far as that one building. So, that's how we're there. We started at a VFW hall in South River. I don't know if you're familiar with it. That was, to me, was an awesome building. Nice high ceilings, nice big building. The problem with South River is like a dead town. So.
Yeah, and they're very loyal to what goes on there. Like you'd get the same fans at every show at South River. It's like you never see a new fan. We've attended a couple of UWA Elite shows out in South River, and every show you go to, it's basically exactly the same fan base. Every face you see is the faces you saw the month before. So
you know why that is?
I have no idea.
Because they're bringing their friends and family to the show. That's why.
Hey, if they're paying tickets, I could care less.
That's why that is.
So, I mean, UWA Elite, when I explain it to people, I'm like, it's a whole different, it's almost like a whole different planet of wrestling. It's just family-oriented, very, to the T. They follow their times. They're in and out. They start on time. They're done, at a certain time. They're out of the build. It's predictable, but that's not a bad thing. Where you go to some of these other shows and you don't know what you're waiting for, the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for something crazy to happen. Like the Staten Island Clown showing up.
Shows in New Jersey, yeah, I can see you having that problem.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, even your show, I mean, we're sitting there, we're having a good time, and boom, boom, and all of a sudden the Staten Island Clown shows up, Who the hell was waiting for that?
He was supposed to be there earlier, too. I think he was doing Tony and Tina's wedding in the city. And I guess he had traffic getting back there, and he showed up during, I think it was a tag team title match, and these guys are pissed off at me. They took away, because remember, you guys are sitting, when he came in, everybody ran over to him.
Yeah.
And it took away, and I understand that, it took away from, the match. But, nothing to do. Things happen,
It happens. It's not like you can sneak in a clown either, you know.
Right, yeah, exactly. I think he kind of stood out, especially he was all over the news and shit.
What is the deal there though with food? Because you go in there and you could get a hot dog from your guy in the corner that does the hot dogs, but then you got to go outside to buy a drink.
Yeah, that's the deal with them, because they sell beverages. So that was the deal I had from. The deal was that, and I couldn't sell. Not that I ever did sell popcorn. They just didn't want me selling popcorn. So yeah, I can't sell drinks there. They sell drinks.
Now, can't they work out a deal with you where if you bring in drinks, they just get a percentage of it, so your fans don't have to leave?
Set up shop inside if you guys wanted, and then they didn't want to do it. I was like, all right, whatever. I know it's a pain, but
no, it is because you gotta leave the area that you're in, and you gotta walk through 1,000 little kids running around inside that place, which is sometimes chaos, and then you're limited for what you could drink, and then you gotta go get change from the front desk. It's just like if it works, it works. I've never seen that before. I always every wrestling show to one.
It's not my I'm there. This is the wrestling. If I could sell drinks, I would. Believe me, in South River we sold drinks, food, and then they had the bar. So and then that was another complaint that everybody was getting loaded up at the bar, wrestlers and fans.
Yeah, well, but wrestlers shouldn't be getting loaded at the shows.
Yeah, tell me about it. the back door of the locker room went right into the bar.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was definitely a unique place to wrestle. I'll tell you that. I would love to go back there. It's just I don't know if, that town is just. I think that town. There's more bars in that one town than there is in any other town in New Jersey.
Well, I mean, you're from Jersey, so you know it's deli, diners, liquor stores, bars.
Yeah, I heard that the most in the country.
So
I heard that.
I think that's why independent wrestling is so good in New Jersey, because all these former big market stars love to come here. They do their match, and they know there's a diner somewhere on the way to the airport.
I just wish some of them lived here. They only live out of state where they have to fly them in and stuff,
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to my next questioning. Let's see if Nick, you have any other question?
I just have one more. I was just curious who a star that's available to work for WoW right now. Who is somebody that you'd really like to bring in to work a show for you guys?
You're saying somebody that's just been released off TV or that's been released for a while?
Somebody who's just been released, or somebody who's actually who would be allowed to work a show for you guys.
You know what? As far as me, I'm older, so I've been a wrestling fan for years, and I always liked Sid. Growing up, I always liked Sid. Before when he was in the Skyscrapers, if you guys remember that. I don't know. Well, you guys don't watch wrestling. I would love to bring in Sid. I know he's not reliable.
Nope.
But the team I would like to bring is the Briscoe brothers from Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think that they would go good with we had a tag team called the Society of Entru. Jason Collins and John Cannon about a year or two ago. They split. One guy is out with a torn ACL. The other one is John Cannon, leader of the OOC. But that would have been a good fight. Denver's team tournament would be a good fight. And I'm a big fan of the Briscoe brothers, especially their promos.
Okay. You know what? I do have one question before we get into the hot topic. What the heck's going on with your world title? I mean, you have two guys with one belt?
It's not the heavyweight title. We don't wrestle all around the world, and I hate when companies say world title. You were at the show? No, you weren't there, right?
I was not. I did see the video of it.
Okay, so we had a four-way match. Abdul Nasir versus Jason Cross versus Jack Gallo versus our champion Chris Steeler. Against including Neftali, he had it all worked out with it. They were just because they were all part of his little clique there, the syndicate. They all take out Steeler. Abdul gets the pin, regains his title that he lost a year and a half ago. Blah blah blah. But I guess Gallo and Cross had their own plans where they took out Abdul, they took out Neff, and then they put a double submission on the champion, and Chris Steeler passed out. Referee called for the bell. The issue is they both had to move on the champ. So who is the champion out of the two of them? They took the belt. They had some choice words to say about me on the microphone. They took the belt. They left the building. I have not seen them or my belt since. And yeah, if you want to check out the video, and if you haven't checked it out already, go to youtube.com/Warriors of Wrestling. I believe it's titled "The Controversy Behind the Heavyweight Title." It kind of explains and shows the whole situation. So yeah, right now we have one champion, two bodies, one champion, I guess you would say. But that's okay because he'll be taking on Abyss on July 26th.
July 26th at Fun Station in Staten Island, New York. TNA's Monster Abyss. Taking on your two champions. Here's another scenario. What happens if Abyss wins? I mean,
then it's back to being one guy with one belt.
But is Abyss going to be there to defend your title, or is he just going to say, "I'm going back to TNA with your belt"?
Well, don't forget, Homicide just signed with TNA, and he's our current women's champion.
I always get worried about those guys that show up maybe once or twice a year to wrestle, and they win a title, and then boom, they decide to just go back.
TNA is not like WWE, where WWE, if you're under contract, that's it, you can't go anywhere. TNA guys can do other events and stuff like that.
Well, I would imagine it's because they're so underpaid, they got to make their money elsewhere.
Well, that's another topic for another show, I think.
Okay, well, let's get into a little bit of a topic. We got about 6 minutes or 7 minutes or so.
This is, first of all, Kevin, I just want to say, you had me on for the last 15 minutes of the show, but yet you had Eric Sims bore everybody for 40, I'm just kidding, Eric's going to get mad, but bore everybody for 45 minutes. I'm insulted here.
Well, he had, he called me up, he requested a show. His was actually pre-recorded on a Sunday and played on a Wednesday, so he actually got a whole kind of show to himself. And anybody that wants that, anybody wants a platform, a 45-minute platform, I have no problem doing that. It's just got to be on a day that's not a Sunday, where I can pre-record it and then play it on the day that you would like it to be played, and then we could promo it all the way up to that day. I've done that with Rob Banner. I've done that with Eric Sims. I even did that. We pre-recorded with Caitlin Diamond, another indie star from Canada, where she couldn't call in on the day. But all right, I'm taking away from your time here. So big pros and cons show that we had with Eric Sims about using wrestling agents at the indie level. What is your feel on this? Because it's been a very, very hot topic in the last 3 weeks.
My honest opinion, I don't like it. Because I don't like it for the fact that you are paying more money. And I heard Eric's podcast and whatever with you, and he said that if you get some 3 shots, he could save money, and he might be able to. But for the most part, you're usually paying more because you're paying somebody else to represent them, which
right.
Eric does, and he gets paid for it. The flip side of that is you don't have to worry about picking a guy from the airport, going to the hotel. So there is both pros and cons. I also work with Richie DeGreg. I don't know if you know who that is.
Of course I do.
Yeah, and like I said, he, as Eric does, takes care of the talent as far as picking them up and does that. So that takes a burden off of me. But like I said, you also got to take more money out of your pocket, and that money goes into the agent's pocket. So you understand both sides of it. Right.
I agreed with that as well. I said, I see both sides of the spectrum. My whole problem, the discussion and reason why it started was certain companies are just being very, very boisterous about it, but they're being very hypocritical about it at the same time.
What company is that?
I don't want to name the company's name, because they've already reached out to me wanting to have a sit-down discussion with them. I've agreed to do it, and they've yet to come back at me with any conversation. But it's a very successful New Jersey syndicate, and they've been very boisterous about being anti-wrestling agent, but yet had a big memorial show for Scott Epstein when he passed, which comes off as very hypocritical because Scott Epstein was a very well-respected wrestling agent in his business. And, and then after the fact, you're going to come out and bash wrestling agents. I won't
name the name of the company because I guess you have something coming up with them, but I know who you're talking about.
Right.
I knew who you were talking about. I just wanted to hear if I could say it or not. As far as that goes with Scott Epstein, do you think maybe they were just doing it out of respect as a person in the wrestling industry?
But all right, that's fine. I totally see that. But at the same time, if you want, then continue to be respectful for a profession that he represented, and don't, if you want to bash one person, then bash one person. Don't bash the entire industry. There's people that go to school for years for sports management, and their concentration is to be a sports agent. If anybody's seen the movie Jerry Maguire, it's not too far off from that. Agents get bad names because of guys like Scott Boras, but there are lots of agents out there that are very, very good to their client and very, very fair to who they work with, and to group them together, to me, is kind of disrespectful to the entire industry.
That's fine. Right? I don't think you can compare independent wrestling agents with professional baseball. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah. Look, there's rotten people out there in every industry, whatever level it is. I understand that.
Independent wrestling is full of it.
Right. But I just, like I said, if you want to target one guy, then target one guy. Don't hide behind and group it all together, and you kind of hide behind that because you're afraid either this guy's going to come back at you, or this guy's going to slap you with a slander case, or whatever the case may be. Because push comes to shove, somewhere down the road, you might need a wrestling agent to get a particular wrestler that you want. And it might, and it might get back to that person that you basically slapped his entire industry and what he does for a living in the face, and they're going to say, F you, bro. Why am I going to help you out? What are you doing for me?
I think, in my opinion, and I'm not totally sure if this is correct, I think the issue stemming with that company, and with it's whatever stems, I know who it's with,
right,
stems from a show that something happened with. As far as, I think that's what that stems from. So maybe that's what this is all about. I really, that's them.
Well, I'm actually hoping, one of their owners reached out to me. He asked if we can talk. I said absolutely. I gave him, a time frame that I'd be back. I messaged him when I got back, and that was 2 days ago. I haven't heard back from him. So I understand it's a holiday weekend. Everybody's got things going on. So I'm open to talk to anybody. You know me. I've interviewed some of your talent. I've interviewed lots of talent locally in New Jersey, whether it was former WWE, TNA, WCW, whatever it is. We're open to talk about it because that's what we do here. We just talk wrestling. We want to promote independent wrestling. We want independent wrestling to be strong, keep the roots strong. So somewhere down the road we can say, you know what, that guy in WWA interviewed him when he was green and he was a good guy. So. It's nice to see something like that.
Right.
But any immediate things coming up besides the July 26th show for WOW that you'd like to promo right now?
The next show, like I said, is July 26th, Fun Station USA, 3555 Big Boulevard on Staten Island. Also, after that, we have our big Under the Lights show, which is on the football field. We're actually literally right around the block from the Fun Station at Staten Island Boys Football League.
Okay.
That show will be headlined by Rhino, Homicide, Danny Doring, Matt Stryker. Rosita will be on the show. Bellini will be on the show. Tony Nese will be on the show. So it's going to be a pretty good lineup there. I might be missing a few names.
Nice.
And all proceeds from the gate go to the Staten Island Boys Football League.
That sounds like it'd be fun.
Check out warriorswrestling.com for all upcoming shows and information. Our DVDs or shirts are on sale at the website. We have YouTube accounts. We put up matches, youtube.com/WWTV Live. We have YouTube where we put up our music videos. And like you said, you've seen that video with the heavyweight title. It's youtube.com/Warriors of Wrestling. Mm-hmm. And it's at facebook.com/Warriors of Wrestling. Follow us at Twitter at WW Pro Wrestling. And we're on Instagram at Warriors of Wrestling.
All right. I appreciate you coming on and talking a little wild wrestling and a little of that hot topic. And
this is a calm conversation. I come on shows and they start asking you to get me going.
No, we're not like that. We don't like to stir. We don't like to stir the pot, man. We give the people a platform to talk. If they want to stick their foot in their own mouth, they're more than happy to. We're not going to help. So. Definitely, I'll be down July 26th. I'll see you down there in Staten Island, and we'll definitely continue our relationship with you and help promote Warriors of Wrestling and get your brand out there, not only in Staten Island, but some of those people that you live just on the other side of the bridge that could come and watch your show as well.
You know what? Our shows never disappoint. Like I said, we have matches up on YouTube. You know, if people haven't seen us and they, check us out.
Definitely. I definitely I second that. Joey B, I appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your 4th of July weekend.
You too, guys. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
That was Joey B, ladies and gentlemen, the president of Warriors of Wrestling. We're getting to the end of the show. I want to thank Joey B and Warriors of Wrestling. I want to thank, of course, Nick DeBeard, who's with us today. JT, who is at work. Next week on the show, ladies and gentlemen, we should be getting our rescheduled segment with Hurricane Shane Helms, along with former Rosebud, Cadence Kelly. On behalf of myself and Nick DeBeard, ladies and gentlemen, have a great 4th of July weekend.